ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਾ ਮਾਤੂ ਹੋਈ
The only photographs actually that are up in my house are pictures that my mother has taken of me as a child. For two reasons. For one, I think they're some of the most amazing works that I've seen because they're so simple and so pure. And if only I could photograph like that, and if I had a portfolio like hers, I would be, I don't know where. For some reason, in Playhouse School, they always made me Virgin Mary, and that annoys me. But there's another picture of me dressed as a gypsy. Now that one I really like.
The way in which questions of the self, the memory, the belongingness to a family come together is in the family album. So sometimes when you look at a photograph in an album, you also realize the absolute impossibility of the photograph. Because in one way you are looking at this in the present and you're looking at someone who you might have known or you might have only known through family narratives. And then you get a certain kind of picture of the person and you realize that the memory of that person is probably made up of that photograph. You are constantly living that photograph when you are thinking of that person.
बचपन में ये सब नेशनल लीडर्स हमारे घर बिरला हाउस में आते थे। जब भी मौका मिला तो ऑटोग्राफ्स करवा लेती थी और फिर ये सब एल्बम बनाती थी। This is myself with my son and with Nehru ji in Pilani at our house.
She is a great writer. She wrote that Ramayana, Bharata and all that in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, that big book, is Kamala Subramaniam. This is, I told you, his brother, and this is Kamala Subramaniam, their children, all the 5 of them. This is Shankar's grandfather, with this a second daughter, her family.
Dr. Savanthisundari and Rajagopal.
What we were living in the past, they can't think of it even now because times have changed so much, you know.
I think that we are one of the most visual cultures in the world. We love the visual image as a people, and actually we love photography.
There's hundreds of views of India. So this is mine.
उस वक्त एक मैजिकल मोमेंट स्प्राउट हुआ था, उसके साथ साथ आप वहां 100% तैयार नहीं थे। वो आया और चला गया, बुलबुले की तरह वो बैठ गया, इतनी सी बात।
So when I go to the families, it's this collaboration that sort of happens, and they decide where they want to be photographed, what they want to wear, who they want to include in the pictures, who they don't want. Do they want photographs of people? Just like over here, I wanted my red telephone. I liked the fact that the computer is here, my email is there, and then I wanted my red radio, which you never put in. But you know, maybe that red radio means something to me. So I should decide that, and I try and do that with the families, let them decide. It's fantasy. I'm not saying this is any reality, and anyway, you know, we can talk about reality in photojournalism as well. But the families is total fantasy. It's a way for the family to affirm family to themselves. But when I went inside the home, and the talking and the sharing and the exchange happened, that is where I get my sustenance from. So the family now actually I see just as an extension of that, some kind of a need, because this amazing bonding can also happen with photography.
I think magic happens in anything that you're not so close to and that you don't understand completely. That's magic. So I guess of a different kind, but yes, magic. What I saw was that it's actually the clouds, you know, the contrast between the landscape and the clouds. One is sort of unmoving, one is solid, immobile, and one is very sort of almost frivolous. It's just, you know, wispy. And in Ladakh I noticed this more than anywhere else, because I guess I was looking at clouds more often there than I do normally, is they just appear over this sort of frozen piece of rock. And before your very eyes, in about 5 seconds, you can see it disintegrating. And while all that is happening, the light on that...
There's a compressed excitement about the 90s, which is most interesting to live with and to live in.
But now I think the 90s is where I want to be, because this is a huge time of transition.
And today is an exciting time because there's an engagement and an attention which has never been paid before.
হয়তো মানুষ নয়